One Piece chapter 718. Damn, I mean, we got a lot to go through, man. This is a chapter packed with a lot of information, and I got to start with the end, right? The fact that Luffy is fighting against Chinjao, and he's having a result to using his devil fruit abilities, and it looks like he mixed in some of his armament hockey. The fact that he's having to do that lets you know that Luffy is in for one hell of a fight, and you're getting teases of it, right? You're getting teases, especially when you look at the fact that like Zoro, he's in there with all the fairies, right? All the little people, and Zoro's just like, Luffy, you big idiot. If you knew there was gonna be a gladiator fight, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you tell me about it? Damn it, my swords, they're just itching for a fight. Like Zoro just missed the whole point. He missed the whole point. He missed the fact that, hey, like your captain is literally fighting for his life right now. And when you look at that, and then you look at the fact that like Doflamingo is just like, hey, yeah, Law, you might as well give up. Straw Hat's already taken the bait. He's already fallen for my plan. And when you look at the fact that like Luffy is struggling, and the reason I use the word struggling is like Luffy is fighting someone with a hell of a bounty on his hands. He's fighting someone who is basically from Garp's generation, and we know that they were overpowered. We know they're overpowered. Like Garp, I mean, this dude was chasing around Roger, so he's chasing around the king of the pirates. So we know that this dude's powerful. We know that he's powerful. Like Garp was called the hero of the Navy, so I mean, you know that Garp is pushing some serious weight. So this Chinjao dude is essentially like Luffy fighting Garp. And I want you guys to tell me down in the comment section, am I overestimating Chinjao's power? And the reason why I ask that is I feel like if he's still out there, then the fact that he hasn't been putting Impel down or anything like that means that he's fairly strong. That means that's someone that Garp couldn't necessarily bring down. But I mean, you let me know. Like, if Garp and Chinjao were to get into a fight, who would win? Be careful with the spoilers. I'm going to be really counting on the moderators for that one. But I think that it's interesting that Luffy is having to use Haki. He's having to use his devil fruit abilities, even though it risks kind of exposing him. And I think at this point, Luffy has stopped thinking about whether or not he's going to be exposed, but instead he's just fighting for survival. And I like it. I like that part a lot. Now let's go ahead and shift gears. I want to talk to you guys about the whole thing that's going on with Law, right? Because he's having to depend on Nami. He's having to depend on Brook. He's having to depend on Chopper. And that's interesting. And the reason why that's interesting is they're in a tough situation of their own. Like they're fighting against this former mermaid. So she's got the thing going on like Kokoro, where she's basically lost her beauty and she's, looking like an old hag. And she's got that devil fruit ability that's turning everybody into art. And the reason I'm just calling it devil fruit ability, I don't know if it's a devil fruit ability, but she's turning everybody into these art pieces. And for a second, I thought the same thing Nami did. Like, oh, so she's the one that turns everybody into toys. And we find out it's another member of Doflamingo's family that is turning people into toys. So Doflamingo's got some serious people in his group, some very serious people. And what's interesting about that is it looks as if Nami and Chopper and Brook, they're unable to take full advantage of their powers. And so because of this, or in the case of Nami, she can't use her weather staff properly. And so because of this, it puts them at a major disadvantage, but they have to get the ship to Law. And the reason I have to get the ship to Law is because he's struggling with Doflamingo. Doflamingo's cock slapping this dude. And he needs them to take Caesar because Caesar is an integral part of their plan. Like he's probably the cog of what they need in order to bring down Kaido. And this is scary. This is scary because essentially Doflamingo holds all the cards. Like he's set up a trap behind a trap behind a trap, and everything's springing all at once, and it's really on some Eisen level shit. And I'm starting to see why my dude Chris was telling me like, hey man, and that's when it got me to check out One Piece as well as Bleach. And you know, my dude Chris is like, hey, you know, you really gonna love Doflamingo. You know, you like Eisen, you like Madara, you like these characters that have plans behind plans, you like Pain, you know, guys that are, you know, really philosophical. You're gonna love Doflamingo, and I'm starting to see why. I'm starting to see why, because this dude took a negative situation and he basically spun it on his head. He got everybody to believe that he stepped down, and in the midst of all of this, he took that situation and turned it into a positive. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, and it makes you wonder just what's going on with Doflamingo and Law, because Doflamingo is taking this personal. He's taking this personal. So, I mean, I really hate the fact that a lot of that fight took place off panel, but I think a lot of that helps in terms of creating suspense. So I kind of see why Oda went the direction he did with that fight. Now, moving onward, I do like the idea of Usopp and Nami being with those little people, those people that are underneath the green bit, and they got these different insects, and Usopp is like, oh, I've never seen insects like this. I wish Luffy could have seen them. It's just like, yeah, if Luffy would have seen them, he'd probably try to eat them. You know, Luffy's just crazy like that. But, you know, they have this like really huge fox looking thing, and that's what Usopp and Robin are riding on. And, you know, Robin trips me out, man. Like, Robin's on there, and, you know, she's getting all comfortable, looking good, by the way, like, getting all comfortable, and then she's looking at the fur, and she's like, man, this is really nice fur. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, Robin's doing her best to try and get a fur coat out of this damn thing. Like, she's probably gonna take them hands and skin the damn thing, make her fur coat. You know, socially awkward ass. But I mean, this is interesting, man. You know, this is interesting because, you know, you find out, like, you know, the different people that are in that flight unit of all those little people. You find out that they've been going back and forth with Doflamingo's families for, I think they said 9 centuries. And if I'm not mistaken, if that's 9 centuries, that's what, 900 years. And so that goes all the way back to like the Void period. I think that was 900 years as well. Or 900 years ago. And that goes in with Nico Robin. So once again, she's in a place where she's probably going to start piecing together the things that the people on our island were able to figure out. And when you add in the poneglyphs, she's probably being steered in the direction of a poneglyph that's probably on Dressrosa. So, I mean, that's interesting. That's really interesting, man. I like that. I like that part a lot. Now, all that being said, I mean, this is a fairly good chapter. There was a lot of information, but at the same time, there was a lot of stuff that felt like it was just being built up for the next thing. On one hand, you know, the fact that we already got Doflamingo taking down Law, who's somebody in Luffy's crew, and Luffy's crew's under attack. Typically, that's when, you know, Oda's like, when you look in the arc, like say like in Alabasta, and all the Straw Hats have individual battles, or some of the members have individual battles. You know, we're moving into a fairly important part of the arc, and yet it still feels like it's setup material. So, I mean, that just kind of confirms what I've been saying for a while. This is going to be a very long arc, because Oda's trying some different things, and yet at the same time, he's doing a lot of world building elements, and he's just stacking stuff on top of stuff. And not exploring it wouldn't give us a good payoff. And if there's one thing about Oda doesn't skip out on the payoff. So, I mean, this is going to be interesting to see how this goes forward. But, you know, I want to know what you guys think. You know, what was your favorite part of the chapter? Which section? But, as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.